Welcome back to the Corridor DIY episode 8. I think it's 8 now. That is so crazy. We've been working in here for a while. In the last episode, I finished this Wallride right here behind me. So in this session today, it's going to be more of a maintenance session. Essentially what I want to do is strip out all of our forms, remove the PVC pipe, and start working on the forms for our next Wallride. That way we can make a little channel. And then also in this episode, I have a whole nother obstacle I want to get building, but today it's gonna be more of a maintenance session. Like I said, I'm gonna sweep everything up, see how this Wallride looks when I pull off the forms. Also, as you can see, we got some new tags down here, some new pieces. They're pretty good. People have asked me whether I like the tags or don't like the tags. Personally, me, I like them when they put a lot of work into them. Some of the scribbles that are also down here, like this one, no offense, no shame, not hating on people, those I'm not a huge fan of, but for me, ultimately, this is a recreational space. I'm building a DIY skate park down here. It's not mine. I don't own this property, so if people want to do that, that's fine. The one thing I definitely don't support is like leaving your trash down here, doing drugs, things like that. I think tagging is pretty much the same thing as what I'm doing, just individual expression. So first thing is first, let's tear off these forms. So first thing I'm gonna do is actually just pull this PVC pipe out of here. The whole idea with this PVC pipe is just allow draining to go behind the quarter pipe, just in case there's buildup. Honestly, I don't think there's an issue. Like I have other quarter pipes over here and other Wallrides where I didn't do that. Not a big issue. I just figured to be a little more considerate for the city. Definitely have a homie who just walked through here who was kind of talking to himself and was drinking a big bottle of liquor. And next thing I might do actually is bring a big trash can down here just to people to dispose of their things versus breaking them and just leaving them down here. I mean, I think it's pretty loose too. Like it's in there actually. When I first poured the concrete, I was able to move it pretty quickly, so it's having faith. So maybe I need to take the forms off. Since the last time I was down here, it's not moving as easy. So I'm sure if I had like some pliers or something, like vice grip to grab it, it would be a lot easier. Oh, there we go. I spoke too soon. All right, here we go. Looks like some things fell off, but it's not gonna be perfect under here. I mean, it's one of those things where I hope there's not a rat in here or something. Last time I saw a snake kind of crawl into here. But the next step is let's just take this form off. It's not gonna take that much effort. There's that one screw. There's only basically 2 screws on each side. Now we'll see how thick this concrete really is. I did it a lot thicker actually than I really wanted to. And there we go, there she is. As you see, we have that other 2x4 in there. I want to see if I can get that out. I should have brought my hammer today, but I didn't. 3 inches up there. Up here it's really thick, which is good. So if this stuff washes away, but it'll be fine because it's so thick right here. And someone had mentioned in the last episode about why I didn't go straight to vert right here is I actually did want this to still be kind of a hard wall, right? Like you can still scrape it. So it's not perfect. Unlike some of the other Wallrides like I did behind the camera where there's a kicker ramp and stuff like that, I made it straight vertical so you can ride right into the wall really easily. This one's bigger, so I actually made it harder because right here it's kind of steep, like you'd still scrape your nose. And I did that intentionally because I didn't want it to be a perfect infinity Wallride where I don't even think it's a Wallride, you're just a huge infinity wall transition. I kind of want it to be more of an actual Wallride, so you can scrape when you come up here. So sometimes I actually want to make the spot a little more difficult than easy. If you want a perfect obstacle, you should go to the skate park, you know? This is always a really satisfying part of the process. Whew, there she blows, and there's that other bag of concrete we left under there. Because you can see there's so much concrete right here, like good, I mean right here is probably like, honestly like almost like 7 or 8 inches, but throughout all of here, at least 3 inches through the whole thing, which I think is gonna keep it nice and solid, even if this does wash away like I was saying. I'd like to get the 2x4s out of here, but that might be asking a lot. They're pretty in there. So I may just leave the 2x4s, and this will be easy to kind of run a skim coat over if I do decide to fill these edges, which now that I'm looking at it, I feel like I probably will fill these edges just because aesthetically it'll look nicer, be easier to paint over, and in the long run it will seal it off a little bit better. So I think I'm gonna have to leave this bottom 2x4 that we used in the last episode to hold this form, but I do think I can get this top 2x4 out. That way we can build some of the form for today's filler since I'm down here. And I'm actually just using this rock to kind of push it through. You can always stick like a couple bricks right here, something like that, to just keep the sides closed off if I do want them to be closed off. Feels like it's getting through there. Not necessarily a requirement, but for me it's just, I can buy one less 2x4 and just use this one. There we go, it's free. Now that we got that nice and freed up, kind of eye up where we're gonna make our channel, our connecting Wallride. 2x4 ultimately is gonna dictate how wide it can really be. So it's about 4 feet because we cut a 2x4 in half, about that wide. About a 3-foot gap right here, which I think will be good because then we can ollie one to the other. Wallride, it'll still be hard, but not that hard. It's doable. I'm just gonna screw this 2x4 in. It'll give us enough support to start adding filler. I may cut another 2x4 again, just so we have a lot of support when we're shimming in our adding the concrete. But this will get us to a place where we can start adding some filler today since I'm here. And then we'll start adding concrete to this, and then we'll get into the other obstacle. I'm getting ahead of myself. Sometimes I do that. Similar thing as last time. And I think I need to clear out some of this ground back here. As long as I don't cover that hole, I'm good. I can be really close to it. Nothing ever comes out of these holes, as we've experienced in the past. And I use screws instead of nails on this project because it was a lot easier to get everything out. Now hopefully you can start to see like the flow that I'm trying to build down here in the corridor ditch. Is basically you have this Wallride channel thing, and you have the quarter pipe right here, so it'll send you back and forth, and we have our other obstacles which are facing behind the camera. So yeah, next up, now that we got this like sort of rough form going in here, I'm gonna bring some filler into the middle of that we're eventually gonna cover with concrete. But I have some dirt right here. Also have these rocks from our last side, so it's gonna be really accessible. Gonna start with that and see how far we get. Gonna wear some gloves, protect those little paws, you know? Now that we have some of these bigger rocks in here, which is good because it's just kind of filling that empty space that we don't really need anything for, I'm gonna start adding some dirt and some more small rocks essentially, because we do need that 3 inches of room. We're almost out there now. Up here, it gets a little more, like obviously where it's more vertical, there is more space, but I don't want to be putting too many big rocks in that area because we do want our concrete to kind of like mold in between our rocks. So we don't want just big ones. We gotta get some small ones as well. We're definitely getting to that point where I think I have enough filler. Ideally, I get a little more sand and like put it on the top, but it's also one of those things where more concrete at the top will just make it stronger. So I think we're good from here. I'm using like a lot of our leftover concrete from the other jobs. Combination of dirt. Today, that's the majority of what I wanted to do. Take our forms off, make our new forms. Not really new forms, recycle our forms. That's the nice part. We don't even have to make more forms. Just took them off, moved them over here, added the filler. I'm gonna clean up a little bit, and then next section of this video, we'll pour this so we have our little channel Wallride. So today I went by Lowe's and I actually ended up picking up 7 bags of concrete. I'm not sure if I'm gonna need all 7, but I figured I'd rather pick up more than have to go run and get more concrete in the middle of our job like I did in the last episode. So now that I'm down here, I'm seeing there are so many new tags. It's pretty crazy. I'll show you all those after we get into the concrete mix because I want to waste no time. Since it's nice and cloudy out, it's going to make it much easier for us to pour concrete. And trying to do DIY jobs in the sun just makes it so much harder. Things start cracking like we've seen in the last episode. So yeah, I'm just super excited. We got 2 5-gallon buckets. Normally the 5-gallon bucket is about 3 bags, so I'm going to try to be very cautious with using too much water. Hopefully have enough supplies down here. I don't want to go do a supply run. That's my point. It looks like some of the people that were tagging left all their paint cans in here, which I think actually I might use some of these paint cans for our filler, but not all of them. They also left some trash and buckets, unfortunately. So I think the next thing I'm going to do after I get this job done today, I'm going to bring a trash can. I'm going to bring a trash can down here and kind of like bolt it to the ground or cement it to the ground or something. That way, like when people are down here, they have somewhere to put their trash, because I think that's why this ended up here. That's all right. So First thing I'm gonna do is get my gloves on, I'm gonna get my mask on, and start mixing some concrete and throw it in here. I'm excited for this channel wall ride. That's the goal today, is just finish this channel wall ride. Obviously, I'm not gonna be able to skate it, but I just wanna get it done so we can skate it in a couple of days. So with that said, let's get into it. I think what I'll do is I think this stuff is just gonna make it harder. So I'm actually gonna take all these cans out. I mean, maybe they were trying to help by helping me with filler, but really I need 3 inches of concrete, and I already have enough filler from our last session. So yeah, I'm not gonna use any of these cans. I'm gonna have to throw them away essentially. Yeah, like any of these sticks out of here because they're just gonna get in our way. We really just want it to be rock and dirt, ideally. I mean, a couple twigs here and there is fine, but we don't want too much. It's just gonna get in our concrete mix. I wanted to do more rocks on the side and more dirt in the middle so that those sides don't fall apart as easily as they have in previous episodes. So it's always a learning curve. All right, I think that's gonna be a good place to mix. I am gonna get our 2x4 out. Just wanna make it accessible. I'm gonna move all of our water and stuff too, because we're gonna need some shimmy space to go back and forth. I'm just so glad it's a nice gloomy day. Makes mixing, it just makes everything a lot easier. I like to just kind of break the bag and then scoop it in there versus dumping it in there. Sometimes I'll dump it in there, but I'm gonna start a little slow today. Get the arms ready for some mixing. Normally what I do is I'll shovel out this first bag, half of the bag, and then by that other half, that's when I'll dump the whole bag in. And I did get 60-pound bags because they're just easier to move. I just taped our water because I couldn't find our top. I didn't want that stuff bouncing around in my car. Now that we got a half mix in there, I'm gonna throw the rest of our concrete in. Throw our dead bags over there. Obviously I could just mix on the ground, but I think this allows for like less water waste, essentially. When I'm mixing with somebody else, I'll mix on the ground because you can kind of work faster. Start chucking it on there. And that's okay if it falls down. It's kind of what I would expect. We got our first bag of concrete on there. You kind of see the damage that's done. Not too much. Now we're just gonna keep mixing, throwing the concrete on there. Not too deliberate. I'm gonna start at the top and just let it fall down like I was saying. Because I used more filler this time than our last time, we won't need as much concrete. That's the goal at least. This batch is a little wet, meaning I need to add a little more concrete. So I'd rather add a little more concrete than have really, really wet mix because I want to preserve our water. That should be good enough to get the most out of our water. Be a rinse and repeat, you know. Start where we left off. Already feels like we're gonna have to use way less concrete, which is nice. Now we'll go easy on it. So my estimate on the 5 gallon for 3 bags is definitely not true. I'm thinking we're getting more than I thought. I think it's gonna be more like 4 bags for 5 gallons. We'll see right now because I still have quite a bit of water in there. And this is the 3rd bag. All right, bag and a quarter going on. Still not in the shaping phase, but looks like honestly maybe 2.5 more bags. Then we can start shimmying it with our 2x4. Definitely need to start getting some on the bottom now that I got the top kind of covered. And start putting down the bottom, work our way back up. I like to wear my sunglasses just because that dust, I don't want that dust going in my eye either. Need to get some anti-fogging sunglasses. All right. We're getting somewhere now. Now I'm gonna try to just fill those voids. Oh yeah, I said I was gonna go on the bottom. Let's go on the bottom. We'll work our way up. Now with this last batch, I'm gonna go on top. Just makes it easier, hit it against the wall. Trying to get an idea for how much more concrete we need. I'm thinking probably 2 more bags. I also have our Pro Finish over here. I'm gonna bring it over actually. This one's heavy, 90 pounds of pure cement. Still got a little bit of water in this 5 gallon, original 5 gallon. Almost 5 bags worth in 5 gallons. Sure, if you're like really preserving it, you probably could make that work. I'm being pretty generous with how much water I use. And to be fair, it is a cloudy day. So if it was sunny out, it might be a little different. Now I'm gonna start using some of this stuff too. Top coat. 1 bucket down. Now this Pro Finish, it does require more water because it's so fine. So it will take more water if you use additional mixes like I am. But because we have plenty of water, that's all right. Dig a little hole, makes it easier for the water, kind of sit in it. Mixing concrete is definitely the hardest part about building DIY skate spots, but makes you stronger. All right, bag 5 going in. I think on this one I'm gonna start going a little lower to the ground, clear out some of this debris. Whew. Still not shaping it. I think after I throw all this concrete on there, I will though do a quick little 2x4 shimmy, kind of see where our lows and highs are. Let's see where that puts us. Using our 2x4, just kind of go back and forth. Got to remember our forms aren't as secure as they were in the last one, so do a light shimmy. I can see now that there's a lot of concrete in one area, so instead of working my whole way up, I'm going to use my trowel. So like, for example, there's a lot in this one batch. Push it to the side. Back to the shimmy. Now again, concrete's about to fall over the 2x4, so I'm gonna go down here in the middle, kind of just spread it out. This initial pass is just kind of allowing us to see where there needs to be more concrete or there's too much concrete. So you can see over here, there's little holes. I want to fill those little holes, fill those voids, fill that void. Now the top still needs more, that's for sure. So we will need 1 more bag to fill that top area. What I'm gonna do is make a little bit of a shelf right here, so it has something to sit on, doesn't just fall down. I think we just need 1 more bag of concrete. Half a bag. All right, it does look like the sun is starting to peek out, so we got our last batch right here. I'm actually gonna put a little glue in it, concrete adhesive glue, because that'll allow it to like stick to the wall a little better. Hopefully, that's the goal. I also made this batch a little more stiff, so it's not as liquidy, not as much water. Same kind of idea, same reasoning, so that it sticks to the wall. It doesn't just fall down. It's not too liquidy, essentially. All right, hopefully this is the last batch. I'm gonna try to just bring it up top. So, just gonna kind of pour it onto this little shelf I made. I hope it sticks. Now, you can just use your gloves, push it into place when it's this technical. Again, we're not even shaping it yet. We're just getting everything into place. So, I'm just gonna kind of slap it in there. Still have more concrete. If I need to mix more, I can. I think that's a good amount. I'm gonna add some more down below because I have it Then I'll shimmy it again with our 2x4. My goal is after this shimmy session, we should be good to start kind of troweling it with our wood trowel. Just make sure that bottom is nice and full before I go all the way up. Looking pretty promising. It's the same thing. I have some concrete building up over that 2x4. So kind of want to try to push it so it doesn't fall off the edges. Feel it where needed. All right, now I'm gonna scoop all this stuff back into our bucket. It's looking better, much easier than the last one. I mean, it's still a little kinked up here. The wall is always gonna be the hardest part. I'm just gonna kind of let that stuff dry a little bit versus trying to work it too much. Just kind of let it sit. It's the rough idea of the shape. Now we can kind of start using our wood trowel. Bring all that up. Work out the kinks if there are any. Now this isn't an infinity Wallride, and what I mean by that is that it doesn't go to vert at the top. Somebody mentioned that in the last video. That's very intentional. I want a little bit of a scrape. I want it to be more of a Wallride than to be an infinity Wallride. And what I mean by that is like down below, I made some even smaller transition. It goes vertical and gets you right on the wall really smooth. This one's a little bit harder, so you will scrape your nose or your tail. That's intentional. I want it a little bit harder. All right, so this is where we're at right now. As you can see, the sun's starting to come out. So I'm gonna mix a little more of our pro finish just to kind of trowel up on the top right there. As you can see, it's looking pretty good in my opinion. We do have more water, more concrete, so I just might as well mix one more batch. I'm gonna use some glue, get this bottom area all buttered up, get that top area. Because this stuff is so fine, it's almost easier to mix it with a trowel sometimes than the shovel. Just avoids the water splashing everywhere. Now the goal is just to kind of blend this top area a little bit more. I mean, I still want it kinked, but I want it to still be like a smooth transition. Not really kinked, but I want it to be a little tough, I guess is what I'm saying. Now we can start troweling the whole thing a little. Getting that smooth sort of connection to the different concretes. As you can see, that pro finish really smooths everything out. So essentially I kind of just letting this sit for a little bit. It sort of allows it to cure a little bit before I start getting to the magnesium float. The magnesium float is this guy right here. As I've used in plenty of other episodes, probably my favorite float of all. And then we have the finishing pull trowel, aluminum trowel that I'll use at the very end. Almost there. I'm gonna start using the magnesium float. It kind of brings everything, all that butter stuff to the surface, which you can tell is pretty much already there. So it's not gonna take too much more from here. Just a little bit of a waiting game and being patient so that the concrete has time to sort of set, essentially. So yeah, as you can see, it just really starts to butter everything up. It really pushes all those rocks down. That's what the magnesium float does. Definitely a little bit of a kink, you can feel it right here. So I'm gonna try to bring that up. Now that the concrete's had a little more time to sit, makes it a little more workable. Reshaping, reshapable. That's what I'm trying to say. I almost want to shave some of this concrete out. because it's so kinked, it's a risky move, but I'd rather not be too kinked right here. Still a little hard to work with, still kind of kinked, but I'm gonna let it sit for a little bit. All right, the sun is definitely in full effect now. I got a little spray bottle with water in case I do need to hit it. There's a bug right here. I'm just gonna let him cruise up it, but this is just to help it, you know, keep it wet. If you need to keep it wet, ideally you don't want to do that too much. But now I'm gonna move on to our pull trowel. Everything's pretty clean. I will get our pull trowel a little bit wet before I do it. My shirt's off because it's so dang hot already. And yeah, I'll just have to kind of let some music roll from here because I don't have anything to put my mic on. Alright, doing a little checkup. It is the next day. Everything's here. It's looking good. Someone moved or burned some of our supplies, but everything's here. That's the most important part. Nothing got damaged. Nobody poked any holes. As you can see, it's not getting cracked at all. Like there's some kind of, you know, lining crack from where the wall meets the concrete. That's totally normal because I didn't cut into the wall. That's to be expected. You could cut into the wall, chip it out and blend it into the wall a little bit better. That would be nice. But the reason that I bring it up is because in the last video, this Wallride did get quite a bit of cracking. I fixed most of it. There's still some little ones that I can actually come back and fix. But the one thing I will notice and kind of mention is it is a little more abrupt than this one is. As you can see here, I'll stand back. You see what I'm saying? Like that's a pretty smooth transition where that one is like definitely more of a Wallride. And that was the problem I was having yesterday when I was trying to work the concrete up there. It kept like falling down. So learning lesson is maybe I would make some forms that actually do have a little more vertical lip on them, meaning the radius would be a little more sharp, but that's okay. It's a learning lesson. I think what I can actually end up doing is using some of our Type S from over here and adding it on just to the top to kind of blend that smooth top edge. If it is really abrupt, I can kind of skate it and see if it's going to be good or not, because I do want it to get us flow to over there. That's kind of the whole goal. But yeah, just a morning checkup. Things are looking good. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to come down and check on the DIY. It's been a few weeks because I got really injured. I slammed really bad. It's been hard for me to do anything. Essentially, my hands all messed up, my body super sore, but we're back. It's been longer than I wanted it to be. Everything's still looking good. Looks like some people skated it. Not a big deal. People have found the spot. They are skating it. It's not a problem as long as the concrete is dry. Then I'm good. Problem I have is when people skating and the concrete isn't dry. But today I'm going to do a little bit of a patchwork with our silk anchoring adhesive. Battery might die on my camera, but I just want to give you a quick update. I'm going to be using the same tools that I used last time to patch everything up, but there are some cracks on our existing Wallride. There's none on the new one, which is really good. And then there's a couple cracks on the very original spot we built down there. So yeah, I'm just going to do a little crack fix today essentially. And then the next chapter of this video, we're gonna get some skating in. I might still fix that up. I'm not sure yet. Like as far as buttering that transition up to the wall, still looks pretty good. So we'll see what it goes. Oh, it looks like someone just showed up actually. Yo. So as you can see, this thing's got a little chunk taken out. So I'm gonna fill the chunk. Maybe get some of this too, just to save it from getting worse is the idea. got some of these little cracks filled. Essentially, it just kind of avoids it from chipping away even worse on the wall. But there you go. That's kind of the idea. Not bad. Nothing too crazy. Minor little patch job. Here's the stuff I used. Silka anchoring adhesive. Alright, I got most of the patchwork done that I wanted to get done today. That was actually pretty cool that these two dudes rolled up. They found the spot from videos that I've made, and I think that's so dope. Like, if people can find the spot and not ask for it and just do the work of finding it from, like, I don't know, watching videos, seeing what's in the background. I've always said it over and over how I find spots, and they found it. I was pretty hyped on it, to be honest. They did some homework versus just like giving it out to them. Somebody else actually showed up with a skateboard, but then they left right away. I don't know if they just got shy or sure enough, but yeah, if you find the spot, come down and skate it. Like, I have no problem with that, but don't ask where it is. Anyways, let's jump into the next chapter. So I've been on vacation for the last 2 weeks with my wife. I just got back yesterday. Today I'm checking up on the spot, and there is so much trash. I was kind of prepared for this because last time I came down here, before I left, there was a lot of spray cans, a lot of trash. Just unfortunately, my assumption is that it is, one, the taggers that are coming down here, the artists, they're spraying, leaving the cans, food, things like that. And then the second one is that it's skaters that are coming down here. So some more people have found the spot, and they're just leaving a lot of trash. It's an unfortunate reality. And the reason that this becomes problematic is because up right next to where this is, there is some new construction, and I just realized they put a bunch of new trees in really close nearby. So that means that they're trying to clean up this area. They're trying to make it look good, and this isn't a good look, all the trash essentially. So today is kind of a maintenance day. I'm just going to clean up all the trash, even though it's not mine. This isn't going to be in the most exciting, sexy part of building a DIY skate park or anything like that, but it has to be done, because otherwise, like, nobody else is going to come down here. Nobody else cares about this space as much as I care about this space. At least I don't think so, especially not skaters or taggers. It sucks I have to presume that, but that's just the reality. Like, who else is going to be down here unless they're just partying? And even on that sense, like, the people that do come down here and party, I think I have seen it sometimes, is well, I shouldn't say I think I have seen it. There's no beer cans or anything like that left over, which is what people always expect. I honestly think a lot of the trash is, unfortunately, like the two people that I just said. It sucks I have to assume that, but that's just my best guess. And the other reason why that's kind of problematic is because it brings critters down here. So when there's a bunch of leftover food and stuff, all of a sudden there's rats and rodents and other things like that, which I have noticed, which is going to be kind of scary right now. I'm kind of actually terrified because I just don't want to be touching that stuff. So I'm going to be using my old broom to kind of poke things, move things around, just pick up some trash today, and then I'm going to blow it out. So I did bring my blower. And I brought 2 batteries to try to get everything. I got some trash bags. And to be fair, there is one area where all my leftover building supply trash is. I'm going to clean all that up. And just the idea is to just clean things up before I start the next project. Like I said, it's not going to be that exciting, but it needs to be done. Someone's definitely been going through our supplies though. Like, there are some of my tools that have just been floating all over the ditch, which does suck, but like, all of this stuff is what's really adding up. Like, a lot of these spray cans and just trash, so, you know, waters, things like that. We got to clean it up. I couldn't even get half the ditch blown out with that last blower that I was using, so I decided to upgrade it. And that was 2 batteries, so don't get that blower. Get this bad boy. It was like 120 bucks from the hardware store, but I'm not mad about it because I've only used it once, but so far it already has so much power and it's gonna move things around faster and last a lot longer. So yeah, I'm gonna keep blowing it out. I wasn't able to do it last time because batteries died. And then I'm gonna get some skating. I know this video is already too long, so I'm not gonna show the next steps yet. You'll have to subscribe, like this video, watch the next episode for the next chapter, next obstacle. But yeah, I do want to finish fix some of the ground and some of these other obstacles because they're starting to get chipped up. Things have been here for a while, but this one, it's still holding good. So yeah, I want to get some wall rides in to kind of finish this video out, and then we'll get to the next chapter. These videos are getting spread out a little bit longer, probably a month and a half sometimes. Yeah, make sure you stay around for those videos. Probably a little bit of a slower pace this video versus the last couple, but hopefully there's been some information, if not entertaining for y'all.